Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69 and welcome back to the channel. Now, today's video, you move, you lose. We had about a week or so ago, you poke, you lose. People from that video basically said, why do you lose if you poke? Like, you have to poke. There's a time and place for everything, ladies and gentlemen. There is a time and place for everything. And when you've got a 183 staring at you, then that is not the time to poke. And the same goes, I always say it, and this could even basically be my effective sniping video. There's a time and place where you have to camp. And this game, this video, we're going to see just that. We're going to watch NG now from Legion, a good friend of mine. He is driving the Badger and he is on Castilla. We're going to actually see a Jaegeru next on the same map, but from the different spawn. So he's obviously gone to this part of the map for TDs. Great position depending on the enemy team, your team. And in fact, the team is perfect. The team is absolutely perfect for a camping TD. The enemy only have one medium tank. Basically, the rest are all heavy. So the majority of the tanks should go to the right side. So NG knows that. Even though he got shot a couple of times, a lot of people would just get down and they would relocate into a different position. But NG, his map awareness is great. He knows, he's just awareness in total. He knows that this is the best position for this tank on this map. And that goes for most TDs. You can have a grill, you could have a Death Star, anything like that, a Foch maybe, anything like that. This is the best map. This is the best position of the map. And considering the team, the enemy team with all the heavy tanks, then he knows this. So he is getting shot. He's took down now the Hori. He's what, 2.2k damage. His team are losing. It's a 4 versus 6. So there's a lot of work to do. And at the moment, he is still not looking at moving. Now, most people would look and think, right, okay, there's one heavy round here. He is getting rushed by all the heavies on the enemy team. So that was a nice shot there on the E50 to take him out. Now, he's not looking at running away. Now, backing up at that point was the best idea, and you can see him calling for help. He does have his team close by, even though there's only 3 tanks. He does have his team close by, and he is screaming for that help. And he actually gets it. The IS-7 on his team does actually come back and support him. So he knows that the team are on their way. And obviously the Badger is not the quickest of tanks. Frontally, it is a great tank when you are hull down. He is just waiting. He's waiting. He is very, very patient. Now, if he would have moved, if he would have either gone forward at this point, if he would have dropped down into a different position, or if he would have backed up, then most likely this would have been a different outcome. Now, that shot there, he probably should have used HE to begin with, but you know what, didn't matter too much because he does take him out. But he would have been reloaded by now to take a shot on this Kranwagen, who doesn't seem too great, to be honest. So there goes a shot on him from the Kranwagen. The Kranwagen should have 2 more shots, so I'm not sure entirely why he's backing up. I think it's because maybe he has his team behind him. I'm not entirely sure. So that was actually a nice roll there, 5-7-5 onto the Kranwagen. Now, again, I don't know what this Kranwagen is doing. I think he maybe reloaded his shells now, and he is going in for the kills, but for the damage. But unfortunately, he literally, NG did not take any damage whatsoever. So he's on 5.4k damage now. It is a 2 versus 3. Now NG knows that there is a tank by this river here, so he's going to try and see if he can get the spot up. He's backing up, and he's just going to see if he is spotted. He has to be very careful, because obviously if he gets spotted like this, then of course the E5 will have the rear or the side of him, and there is not really much he can do. I like the fact that the IS-7 is actually staying with him for support. Now, not a good sign when there's a Death Star in front, but luckily the Death Star is only shooting HE, so he only done 500 damage. That was still a good amount of damage for a Death Star. I love what he does here. He is losing hit points, so he's going to let the IS-7 go and share the hit points. That is what Legion is known for in the tournament side of things. They won Twister a while ago, and they are absolute gods in tournaments at hit point sharing. And that is exactly what NG did here. He's just backing up. He's letting the IS-7 go in front. And it's working because these two tanks right here, they're not focusing on NG. Even though they probably should because he was the lower hit point tank. They're not. They're ignoring him. And well, not now, but they was ignoring him to go for the IS-7. And because of that, NG is just able to farm some damage. Now, hopefully, he takes a shot there, and it wasn't a high roll. Leaves him on 49 hit points. And fair play to this IS-7. Fair play to this IS-7. Focusing the tank he needs to focus on. He's front line. He's saving NG, and that actually goes towards the outcome of this game. So fair, really, thumbs up for this IS-7. So that was an unfortunate bounce there. And this E5, he can't really get the shot off. NG was in a good position. In total, I mean, NG didn't really move too much. He stayed in the same area of the map, basically in spawn, but it paid off. 9,234 damage and a Hall of Fame in the Badger. So well played NG, and well played to the IS-7 as well. He couldn't have done it without that IS-7, and extremely well played, and actually a good battle. That is what you call effective sniping. No, I wouldn't even call it effective sniping, because his team actually, he sniped for a little bit, and then he just waited into the position and waited for the enemy team to come around for him to farm some damage. Next up, we have the Jaeger-Roo. Not quite sure who is driving it at the moment. Now, this is another tank where it's a very difficult tank to play. And instead of going into the usual TD spot on this side of the map, he is going to the heavy side. Now, the difference between this game and the other game, he doesn't just go and sit in the TD spot. He's actually going to see if he can spot the heavy tanks. You can see he's playing it basically as a heavy. He's with the heavies at the moment. And when he doesn't spot anything, he actually pushes further forward. Now, he is actually going to sit in one position and farm some damage, but he's not just going to sit and wait in a position where he has no shots. So he's actually going to get into a position first where he can see the enemy. And straight up, we spot an E75. And of course, there is a couple of medium tanks to the right. So this is where he's going to push. He's actually going to push on. He's first line. I mean, there's the IS-4, so he gets a lovely shot there, and he's just going to carry on pushing. He knows that there is the IS-4, there's the E75, and he's actually pushing onto the left side. He could either push the left side or the right side, but of course, because he had the shot on the IS-4, it is a tier 10 tank, and it probably is, well, it is the most dangerous target that he could come up against. So he's going to focus this IS-4, and his team actually comes with him. Here's the T-57 Heavy. He saw that the T-57 Heavy was pushing, so he's actually going to push with him. So there's one shot from the T-57. He's going to wait. Can he clear him? Hopefully the T-57 does clear him. So that is one tank less to worry about. So it's just now this E75 that is here. He gets a nice bounce, and he gets a nice bit of damage. So he's on 2.4k damage. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where he's actually going to sit for the rest of the game, because he doesn't need to move. And I say it all the time, if you don't need to move, then don't move. If you've got shots, then of course stay there. So clearing that E75 is really good with him in it, and it's in a good position. And now this T62A keeps poking, and again, what I've said, you poke, you lose. And this is exactly what this T62 does. Like, someone does shoot and he's thinking, okay, maybe I can push forward now. Maybe I'm not spotted anymore. Maybe the Jaeger-Roo's not looking. But no, the Jaeger-Roo is still looking. He's a dangerous target. And again, that was nice. A bit of patience from our guy. I still don't even know who it is. And it's going to pay off. His patience pays off, and his positioning pays off. So L Pro, there we go. L Pro 12. So at the moment, it is now a 4 versus 4. He's got 4.8k damage. and this is where he's going to spend the rest of his game. So he's going to get a nice shot there on the Jaeger, but of course he does take a shot in return, and now he's going to just back up, and he's actually going to use this E75 for a bit of cover. So this is the kind of thing I was talking about. So he's got a decision to make, whether he stays here, whether he goes to the left side and maybe get into the TD spot, or whether he goes to the right side. But actually here, even though it's a 3 versus 4, here is a very good position because of that E75 that he killed earlier, or that that's dead in front of him. It actually is some cover. Now this T54, God knows what he is actually doing, but the outcome of this game actually depends on one tank, and that is the Vickers Light. You can see him, he's on 14 HP. Now he is actually himself is going to change the outcome of this game. I don't really particularly like the Jaeger. It's slow, it's got a nice gun on it. The armor profile for me doesn't work too well, but it's okay. It's a very difficult tank to play. And if you get tanks behind you, a medium tank or a light tank, then you are in a lot of trouble. So he is bouncing shots from that T54. I said the armor profile isn't great, but from distance, yeah, when you're angled, it's not bad at all. So he's waiting and waiting and waiting. He gets that shot off on that E100, and he is still bouncing that T54. So he's now blocked 2.9k damage. He's up to 7k damage, and again, at the moment, there is no real reason for him to move. Why would he move? He's pumped up the damage. He tries a blind shot there on the T54. Unfortunately, he shoots, then he becomes unspotted, and the T54 does actually start now making that move. So he has the Vickers Light one shot, or basically everyone's a one shot, and that there was a lovely shot on that E100. Absolutely fantastic. Now he can take a shot. He's on 1200 hit points. He can take a shot from the Jaeger. So what does he do? What would you do here? Would you go and push this Jaeger and try and take him out? Even though if you push him, you could then have the T54 or the Vickers come up behind you, and obviously with their DPM, they will probably be able to take you out. So there goes the T57, and because the Vickers killed him, he knows that he is around here somewhere, but where is the Vickers gone? Where's the T54? Now the Jaeger is still there. Now here comes the T54. So this is where the outcome is determined, and if he would have moved into that Jaeger, this would have been a loss. 100% this would have been a loss, because these two tanks are quite close by, and they would have 100% taken him out if he would have went for that Jaeger. Now the T54 actually at the moment is doing okay. There's a Vickers Light doing all right. He's come up behind. There's two tanks come up behind, but what the hell? What is he doing? What was that Vickers Light doing? He is just changed the outcome of this game. He gets another nice bounce there from the T54. He's blocked 4.4k damage. If he's lucky, he can take a shot from the Jaeger. He does. It leaves him on 84 hit points. He's on 8,700 damage, and again, he's going to take out this guy. Again, why is he poking? He's poking. You poke, you lose. Again, we've got two videos in one. You poke, you lose. You move, you lose. So he made the right decision there in staying in that position. Even though it's in spawn, people will complain, you didn't even move off spawn. But he did. It was actually the other side of the map. But well played to these guys. Absolutely great games. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you soon.